chambers with me today. I have Councilman Victor Jones and Chairman Britt Moore. Absent is Councilwoman Monica Peters. First item up today is 2023-162 contract Schnabel Engineering, and presenting that will be Robbie Stone, Public Services Director. I'm sorry, but Robbie's not here, so we got Damon DeCane.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the committee. Apologies for not having a much better representative here today, but he's out representing us well elsewhere. The item before you is a contract with Schnabel Engineering. This is sort of step 2 in the City Lake Dam replacement project. The first phase was to really determine is replacement or rehab a better option. Now that we've kind of steered towards replacement, this is additional investigations to be performed in preparation for that design. So listed in the item are things such as a bathymetric survey of the lake. That's just fancy way for saying underwater. How does it look underwater? How the spillway looks, that channel, the existing condition of the left abutment. The council is purchasing properties on Knollwood in support of this. If you remember, to make sure we own all the property that the dam is located on, raw water pipelines, and those sorts of things. There are actually 2 items before you today for action. The first, of course, is to award the engineering services to Schnabel in the amount of $495,970. And there's a capital project ordinance for the replacement of this related to the issuance of revenue bonds. So with that, I'll be happy to take any questions.
Do you have any questions?
Now, this is a big project, big capital project, long time. What's this stage look like? 6 months?
Potentially six months to a year, depending on what they find. But yes, sir, it's a big ticket project. It'll be $25 million or more by the time it's all said and done.
Thanks.
It's a big damn project.
Yes, sir. It's a big damn project.
All right, well, if there's no other questions, I will make a motion to approve. Item 2023-162.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. And I'm assuming that you will be playing Robbie Stone on this as well?
I'll be appearing daily, sir. Appearing daily. So.
Item 2023-163, Damon.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Before you, this item is an interlocal agreement with City of Archdale. City of Archdale utilizes some of our infrastructure to convey their sewer to us. That is the Richland Creek outfall. We're currently finishing up a project there to the tune of about $16 million. All those large diameter aerials you may have seen as you drive around. In order to take advantage of the fact that that line was already under construction and pumping around, Archdale, to conduct their work, wanted to make use of our contractor and the fact that they could avoid those extra costs. So they requested the city to enter into an interlocal agreement where they would reimburse us for the cost of those improvements to take advantage of the opportunity, the contractor being there. So that change order was brought before you previously and has been approved. And now this is just the follow-up for reimbursement to the city for $297,918.40. And the City of Archdale has already approved this ILA at their March 28th meeting. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes.
All right, thank you.
Next up is item 2023-171, budget ordinance, and that is Stephen Howard.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you. This item is an appropriation of transportation turn lane funds, and the funds will be applied toward the local match for the James Road Sidewalk Project and for the future installation of a sidewalk on Deep River Road. Turn lane funds are received by the Department of Transportation as a way for developers to pay for improvements that can't be done at the time of development. Potential reasons for this could be environmental constraints, constructability issues, or site constraints at the time of development. The developers pay the funds to the city, and then they're earmarked for improvements in the same general area where the development occurs. So the total amendment is $279,267, broken down $85,800 for the Deep River Road aspect of this, and $193,467 for the local match for the James Road Sidewalk project. There's no local budget impact. These are funds we received from the developers for these improvements, and Financial Services would recommend approval. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
To say again how the turn lane fund gets its funding?
Developers doing a development, there could be a
Comes from the developer?
Yes, there could be construct, a turn lane.
Okay.
They're not able to do it for some reason.
No.
They give it to us, and then we make that improvement or make a similar improvement in the area.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? If not,
Second.
all right, there's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Thank you, Stephen. All right, next item up is item 2023-172, Resolution Multifamily Housing Revenue Bonds, and that will be presented by Assistant City Manager Eric Almedo.
Thank you, sir. Let me get to the right tab here. So today we have before you a resolution for council to consider giving preliminary approval for the issuance of multifamily housing revenue bonds to finance the acquisition and construction of what's called the Lofts at Brentwood project, which is a Winfield development project. They are anticipating a 120-unit multifamily residential rental development at 1400 Brentwood Street. The statutes of North Carolina allow the city to grant authority to a private developer to issue bonds, and they are proposing housing revenue bonds not to exceed $12 million. Important to note is that these bonds do not, cannot be paid by the city or any other subdivision of the state of North Carolina or political subdivision. They are solely payable by the company, so there's no budget impact to us. We are simply granting them the authority to move forward and issue these bonds. This is very similar to what we did in 2020 with the Housing Authority issuing bonds for the project at Legacy Ridge. Happy to answer any questions.
Eric, how many, I don't know if maybe I missed it, how many units did you have?
120 is what the initial proposal is.
Second. Any other questions? Not, I'll make a motion to approve item 2023-172.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
That motion carries. Thank you, Eric. Next up is item 2023-173, authorized write-off of delinquent utilities, and that is our Financial Services Director, Bobby Fishjohn.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the City Council Finance Committee. This is an item I bring you every year, just authorizing the Finance Director to write off uncollectible utility accounts and miscellaneous accounts receivable that are more than 3 years old. These have already essentially been written off of our financials by being placed in allowance for doubtful accounts, and then this will just remove them from our books. It does not absolve anybody from owing us that money. Our customer service director will continue to try to collect that. If somebody moves back into the city and they want lights, they've got to pay what they owe. So this by no means forgives that debt. We just have to ask for permission to remove it. So the first action will allow us to write off $977,238 in utility revenue uncollectible from 2018 to 2019. The second action will allow us to write off $4,088 for miscellaneous billings over that same fiscal year. The attached item kind of shows the overall our charge-off history and billings by year. Just a neat chart to kind of show how it's changed over time.
Any questions?
Are we still maintaining our high efficiency on recapturing most of this? We've always had a good record of that.
99.5% is our collection rate, and that's before it gets to this write-off stage. There's still the North Carolina Debt Set-Off Program, which is very helpful. However, in recent years, everybody may have noticed this, you have less money withheld. They changed the withholding schedules, so there's less capture from your tax returns than there used to be because you're getting less of a refund. But it's still a very valuable tool, and there's a couple other collection avenues that our collections department has as well for larger debts.
All right. Any other questions? If not, then I will make a motion to approve item 2023-173.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Javi. Item, and I think this is the last one to come before us today, item 2023-174, performance-based incentives, Vico Plan LLC, and that will be presented by Sarah Stevens.
Yes, good afternoon, Chairman and members of the committee. I am here on behalf of the High Point Economic Development Department, representing our Director, Sandy Dunbeck, and our team. We would like to bring before you on Monday for public hearing Vico Plan LLC. They are an industrial shredding equipment manufacturer currently based in Randolph County and looking to expand here into High Point and Guilford County by leasing 501 Gallimore Dairy Road. It's about 94,000 square feet. The company would relocate 90 existing positions while also adding 51 new positions and paying an average wage of $85,490 per year. This project would cause the investment of over $10 million, and our department provides a two-part recommendation for your consideration, which is to authorize the performance-based incentives for the project in the amount of $155,366, as well as authorize our city manager to execute a performance agreement. Happy to take any questions.
Well, being that that's up in my area, I am very happy to continue to see development on what I love to call industrial corridor up there on Gallimore Dairy Road. So it's really, really a welcome development.
I would echo that, but the incentives, can they be used toward the rent lease of the, or anything that they want to use it for?
This will be for their real property.
Real property? Good.
If there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Second, I'll make a motion to approve.
Just the public hearing will be
Okay.
on Monday.
Okay, so we don't have to take any action today? Okay, all right. Well, there will be a public hearing on Monday at our regular council meeting. If there are no other items to come before finance today, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Well, there's a motion and a second, and all in favor?
All right.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.